What's up, babes? It's me, Fuji. Welcome to my Animal Crossing adventure in making my favorite bags from the game. If you don't know what Animal Crossing is, it's basically a game where you work for a crook named Tom Nook, paying off a debt on an island that you built from the ground up while the trash panda takes all the credit. But honestly, it's so much fun because you get to live out your millionaire dream and collect the cutest items. In today's episode, I will be teaching you how to make a star pochette, also known as a star bag for those of us who are stupid as I created my own pattern, which you can download in the link below so you can follow along and make your own. By doing a brief Google search, I found a cool website called House of Sew, and by their definition, I would say that this pattern is at an advanced beginner level. With that being said, let's get started. The items you will need are colorful fabric. I'll be using sequins gold and white fabric to match the item in the game. Then you'll need D-rings, 2 yards of 1-inch bag strap, cardboard, stuffing, hidden zipper, and strap adjusters, and any additional items used for sewing, including a hot glue gun and a lighter. Now you might be asking, Fuji, why the f is there a lighter on your list? Well, I'm glad you asked. If you've seen my last video, you know that I'm using that material for my back straps, which translates to arson. I'm just kidding. Using this type of material for the straps, controlled arson, is the best way to stop the ends from fraying. Also, glue gun is for the cardboard. Speaking of cardboard, take out number 1 and cut out 4 stars. I happen to have full cardboard sheets from previous projects. However, if you're going green and saving your shipping boxes, be sure to cut from a solid space where there is no crease. This is so you'll have a nice sturdy star. Take your gold sequins fabric, or whatever you chose for the star, and cut out 2 faces of number 2, placing the flat side on the fold. Doing this will mirror each side when cutting, so you'll get a full shape. With the same fabric and using number 3, pin and cut 10 faces. This will be the back side of our stars. If you're using sequenced fabric like me, you're going to need some lining. All you need to do is cut out the same amount of each shape with the white fabric. Speaking of white, let's cut out the marshmallow parts. With 4 through 7, you'll need to cut out this many faces of each shape, making sure to place 4 on the fold. Before gluing your cardboard stars together, if you look closely at the cardboard, it has ridges that help keep it stiff. Capitalizing on the strength, take 2 of the stars and glue them together, making sure the ridges are crossing each other like so. This will really secure the stiffness of the board so it won't bend or break. If you didn't need lining for your fabric, you can skip to the next steps. This part is pretty simple. First, match the gold fabric with the white lining and pin them together. Once they're all paired up, you'll sew a basting stitch around the outer edge of each shape, and it should look something like this. When you're done with that, let's move on. Now you're going to pin in place 5 faces of 3 to 1 star, matching up the curved edges like so. As you're pinning, make sure they're overlapping each other like a ninja star. Then you want to take the parts of number 3 that are underlapped? Is that a word? Anyway, fold that part back, lining up the crease with the corner of the star like so. This will help hide the raw edges when sewing on the marshmallow. Pin and do the same to all 5 corners. Then sew 1/4 to 1/2 inch in around the outer edge of the star. Cut the corners of the stars close to the seam but not cutting all the way through before turning it inside out. This will help prevent puckering. Now that we have our star fragments, we need to stuff them to make them fluffy. All you gotta do is take your flat stuffing and cut out some stars. In hindsight, I could have used number 1 because this part doesn't need to be perfect, but I like to make things hard for myself, so I pin and cut. By this point, you should have 2 star fragments, 2 star clouds, and 2 cardboard stars. Stuff 1 star fragment with the stuffing first, then slide the cardboard in like a glove and fold over the flaps. Do the same to the other star, and now you have 2 large star fragments. Knocking out number 6, fold one of the faces in half on the right side. Then you're just going to have to take 1 L and sew it at the open end like so. And do the same to the other side. Then with your wizard wand and the power of editing, your strap will go from this to this. But if you're a normie, you're just gonna have to take a chopstick or something and turn it inside out manually.
Boo, you stink!
Either way, you get the same result. After that, chop off the end that's closed, and now you have a nice tube for your D-rings. Okay, first things first. With your interfacing, you'll need to cut a piece for each of the remaining faces of 4, 5, and 7. The interfacing doesn't need to be perfect because you'll just cut off the excess ends. Iron them down and trim. This is the part where I encourage you to look at the description below so you can watch a better zipper tutorial. But here's my attempt. Let's start off with taking 2 faces from 7 and place them right sides together, and sew a seam 1/4 inch on the short end. Then it should look something like this. Then do the same to the other side, and you should have, well, you should have gone from 4 7s to 2 7s. Yeah. Okay, again, I encourage you to go check out the description below, but if you have a zipper that is 7 to 9 inches long, then it should be just about the perfect length between the 2 joined faces. Center the zipper along the edge of one strip like this, facing right sides together. Then with the zipper foot, sew as close to the zipper as possible, then do the same to the other side. And it should end up looking like this. Now that our zipper is done, we can start putting together the marshmallow. Note that the top of 4 is where the point is and the bottom is at the flat end. With that, pin in place one face of 5, line it up to the bottom of 4, right sides together like so. There should be about equidistance of seam allowance on either side of the bottom of 4. Then you're going to do the same to the right and left side like this. Sew a 1/4 inch seam connecting the faces. Make sure to sew each face down one at a time and not in a continuous line. We'll be sewing the ends closed later on in the video. After that, you should have something like this. To match the other side of the marshmallow, I folded 3 like this and lined up the edges of 4 to match. Hopefully, watching the video makes more sense. After that, sew them together and you should get a cute little pouch like this. Now we can add our zipper. By doing that, line up the middle seam of the zipper to the top of 4, then pin all the way down and do the same to the other side. For this one, you can sew a continuous line from end to end like so. Now we can close the 2 openings at the bottom. Make sure to pull out the corners before sewing so you don't catch them, and sew a straight line from point to point. Then do the same to the other side. Before sewing our zipper ends, let's grab our D-rings and number 6. Slide a ring onto the middle of 6 and fold it in half like so. Trim your zipper ends just to even it out, then sandwich the ring inside the zipper end like so. Then sew a straight line to close it up. Do the same to the other side, but make sure to open the zipper first so you don't lock yourself out of the bag. After that, trim off the excess ends, open up your zipper and turn the bag inside out. Then you should have a cute little marshmallow bag. For the strap, you can customize it yourself, or you can follow along and make an adjustable one. You'll need to cut the strap in 2 parts. Cut off a piece about 17 inches, and don't forget to fire the ends like it's an old ex, except this one will get closure. Feed the short strap through 1 D-ring and fold over about 1/2 inch. With the other end, feed it through the ring that comes with the strap adjuster. Fold over 1/2 inch and pin in place. With the long strap, attach it to the other D-ring and pin. Taking the end of the long boy, feed the other end through the other adjuster like so. Then feed it through the short boy like this, and follow it back up to the middle bar of the adjuster, feeding it through, and then fold and pin together. When sewing the strap down, you could do a zigzag stitch like myself, or you could do a box stitch like I did in the last video. Here is a side-by-side comparison. Well, I hope you had fun up until this point because it's time to reconsider your life choices. On the back of our star, we're going to pin and place the marshmallow in the middle. Make sure all the corners are folded and you're pulling taut as you're pinning down. Now wield your tiny sword because you're going to be hand sewing the rest of this bag. Why do I add hand sewing to my bag instructions if I absolutely hate it? Because it's in hopes that one day I will love the process. Until that day comes, if you have any other way to sew it together that works, please leave a comment below. Give me a tip. Shoot me a DM. I don't know. I would love to find another way to get the same outcome, but not hand sew it. That'd be great. After you're done with that, do the same to the other side. Then you are all done. Ta-da! You now have the DIY to make your own star bag. You can also make some lining to go on the inside for a cleaner look. I put those instructions at the end of the video, so if you want to learn how to make it, then you can skip to the end. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more of these, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get updated on new videos. I hope that this was easy to follow along and that you had fun during the process. If you made one yourself, I would love to see it. Tag me on Instagram or TikTok at @itmefuji. I also have a Patreon if you want to help support me in my creative endeavors and have full access to upcoming videos and patterns. Thank you again so much, and I will see you next time. Huh? You're still here? What are you doing? Oh, that's right. The lining. Well, good luck. You're gonna need it. To make the lining, it's the same pattern as the Marshmallow center, just without the zipper. Oh, and the interfacing. And 6. Does that make sense? After sewing them together, you should get something that looks like this. Mine looks a little stiff than probably yours does. It's because I had to re-record the other bag before, and this one has lining onto it, and you know, yours might just look a little bit looser. Anyway, you're just gonna stuff the bag with this other bag, and you're gonna line up the zipper holes together, then pin it down and hidden stitch them together. Yeah, just when you thought you were done hidden stitching, no, you gotta do it again. But hey, it's for that finished, clean look, right? So people go over to you and like, whoa, where did you get this bag? And you're like, oh, I made it. They'd be like, what? No way. And yeah, there you go. You got that whole sequence going on. Look at beautiful, amazing, so good, so good. You're done. That's it. That's all I have for you. Goodbye. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.